Welcome to Business Winner's Story, a digital edition of Energy Salon 21. My name is Olha Bosak. I'm CEO, board director, and advisor. I'm a businesswoman working in energy industry. Speakers of Energy Salon 21 are people of high rank or high position. But right now, I'm not willing to emphasize on their status. I would like to focus my and your attention on their achievements, on their personality and character traits. Now, during the coronavirus pandemic, I want to identify, present, and connect those people who manage to survive in difficult times. I aim to create an effective interaction between strongest and bravest energy business leaders all over the world. I want us to share our ideas, our insights, and our innovations. I strongly believe that united efforts of energy business winners all over the world can enhance the ability of our global energy community, really enhance ability to influence greatest challenges of 21st century. Today I have invited Mats Lundin, whose #1 industry knowledge is renewable energy, to share his story of his personal contribution to green economy. Mats Lundin is the director of a family investment company in the renewable energy and mobility fields, Salings AG in Switzerland. Currently, Mats is continuing to build an e-charging network in Romania, M3 World Motion SA, using top-of-the-line for charges from ABB. Mats, could you please tell us a little bit more about your nowadays experience? How do you deal with today's challenges, and how do you actually manage to keep green economy in your main focus?
Thank you, Oda. Very nice to be here, and very interesting questions, I have to say. I think one has to look a little bit on the historical background of a person, and I started to get involved in the renewable energy sector for about 20 years ago, when I realized that wind power was all of a sudden becoming a viable choice for producing electricity. And historically speaking, we have been using nuclear power, fossil fuel, and so on. And for me, I saw that these energy sources were, of course, extremely important for the system, but I saw the opportunity of learning something new. And I think this, shall we say, feeling of wanting to acquire knowledge, which I did in the wind power field by simply studying, reading, and analyzing myself, and then outlining basically the business that I have been in for the last 20 years. This way of approaching the past as well as the future is one of the abilities that have helped me a lot. I try to focus on available material. I like to talk to people. I like to analyze these things myself. In 2003, this led to that my company at that time started to attract financing for a district heating power plant in Romania, which was in desperate need of modernization. And what we realized at that time, when we found out, that there was something called the Kyoto Protocol, if anybody remembers that. And by simply studying the available materials, speaking to a number of people, we all of a sudden started a business. And the business was that we were helping various heating companies or energy companies in general to change from being energy inefficient to become energy efficient. And I think this is one of the greatest achievements that we have done, in the sense that we not only were able to help this company to reduce their CO2 emissions, but we were able to provide money for the investments. And funding of your ideas is, of course, also a key part of your business development. But I think that mainly, as I see it, the ability to manage and find investment opportunities is more important than necessarily having the funds immediately. Funds are always coming to good projects.
But today we are in a, all of us are part of a very interesting transition forced or influenced by the pandemic. Today, all of us actually are witnessing a big impact of the global lockdown on economic growth and energy demand. According to the International Energy Agency, energy demand is likely to fall 6% in 2020. Mats, how do you see the energy industry of the future? Actually, what do you think? Who will be winners of historic decline of energy demand? Talking about all sources of energy. I mean, oil, natural gas, coal, nuclear, renewables. What are your forecasts?
Well, I think that this very unfortunate event that we have just experienced and continue to experience of where a virus is able to close down a large part of our society is something that is going to have a lot of impact on the future. That's clear. I think that most of us will realize that we want to be working together with nature, which probably will lead to that we are going to try to refocus our use of energy away from the CO2 heavy industries like coal-fired and oil-fired and similar type of activities in terms of just producing electricity as well as heating. I believe strongly that generally speaking, that we will move even faster now into a green economy. And what I see as the next steps, it's not now rocket science here, but one of the next steps that we are into is clearly how are we using the energy and the electricity. And we are most likely going to see an enormous growth in the electrical vehicle sector, which means that we are going to be able to clean up the transportation sector, which is one of the dirtiest, unfortunately, that we have at the moment. And this was actually for about 5-6 years ago that led me to start my work relating to charging of electrical vehicles. Working again, actually together with my former employer ABB, installing chargers for electrical vehicles in Romania. We selected Romania because we believe that that's a country with the help of cleaning up the transportation sector, perhaps the most in the European Union. And having a lot of experience from the country, it was an easy choice. So we are now working very hard on putting out more and more of these chargers in the Romania in order to provide the infrastructure for regular people that would like to buy an electrical car and cannot charge at home. So this is our business idea, and we are obviously part of the green economy in this way.
Mats, I can see you are a great believer in green economy. How do you think more people, more companies, not only from energy sector, can become part of this transition to a green economy? Globally, nationally, regionally? Is it actually coming from global level to local level, or from local to global?
I'm a very strong believer in taking personal responsibility and actions yourself. So I believe that we are probably going to see this from both a very local level as well as from a more global level. We have seen a lot of grassroots movements in the environmental sector, within the green economy and so on, moving much faster and much more diligent over the last couple of years, which I think is wonderful. I think it's wonderful because it means that people are learning. They are reading, they're studying, they want to be part of something. And this message of moving together for a better world where we are not going to harm or really important. It's going to drive also, of course, the more global part of the world that we are going to see many of the larger international organizations that are going to put further efforts into supporting this. And I believe that maybe by moving towards a more green economy where we are working with nature, we may be able to avoid having such a virus outbreaks in the future, which is so dominantly making us unable to communicate and meet with each other. I mean, we are all humans. We enjoy meeting and talking with each other, and I believe that moving towards the green economy with more knowledge, more analysis, and more discussions is potentially a great way of furthering democracy in the rest of the world that has not yet had the opportunity of getting into that.
Mats, thank you very much for joining Business Winner Story. I'm Olha Bosak. This is Energy Salon 21.
Thank you very much for having me today. It was a pleasure. Thank you, Ola.